and it looks like we might actually be recording. So a couple of your typical stuff that we always say. Somebody just joined. I don't know who that was. Who just came in? So you can record this if you want to. I'm recording it, and I'll post this. Not everybody's here today, but I will post this on the YouTube channel like normal. I don't have a PowerPoint for you. I want to just talk about classroom management stuff, and then talk about the book, and then call it a day. So we'll see how it goes. First of all, classroom management stuff. Number one, you know this. People have been posting and choosing questions. There are questions for you to select in the Google Classroom thread. You know the deal. Remember, I shouldn't say remember, I reposted your instructions. It's been a while, so I reposted the instructions for discussion boards and Blackboard. So in case anybody forgot, same deal as before, same expectations. Thursday for your initial post, Sunday for all the replies. So there's no change there. And I think I gave the same amount of questions that we have as a class. So there's no extras this time. I do have more I could select, and I'll talk about that when we get to the book. I'm deliberately not touching on a couple of questions or question styles that we can. I'm not sure why Allie's jamming the microphone or the picture or the whatever it is, the camera in the baby's face. I feel like that.
She's jamming her face at the phone. Not
I feel like that could hurt the baby, though. I don't know if you're aware of what hurts babies. Also known
She's jumping at it.
Good. Well, that's
lunging.
Oh, she's eager to be an English student too. Look at that kid. That's great. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
She loves books.
Anyway, also this means Allie can't ask any questions because she's being disruptive. So no questions for Allie today. I think we'll all appreciate that. Murata would appreciate it, but she's not here. I don't know where Murata is. Anyway, all right, let's continue. So another classroom management thing I'm going to send you an email for. This is brand new. I told you quizzes are coming. Now, I'm less worried about the juniors. So let me just say that. And of course, I'm recording, so there's evidence, it's proof I said it. I think the juniors are still doing stuff. The seniors are not really. And the seniors are easy for me to tell because I can actually watch the view counts on YouTube for their presentations, and nobody's watching them. So clearly, they're not doing that part of it. But I want to make sure we stay fresh too. So tomorrow, I'm going to do quizzes. Now, nobody volunteered. I take it back. Some people volunteered to shoot hoops to have quizzes taken away from you, and then everyone ran away. They ghosted me. So as a result, quizzes are in effect. Now, I did see Owen, and Owen could have done, and he's here. He's right over there. He's on my right. Owen could have, he's like a 7-foot hoop. Even me in my advanced elderly condition and terribly out of shape could dunk on that hoop. And Owen could have, he still could. Owen could save you all. I even might let him dunk for the opportunity to take quizzes away, but we'll hold that for the future. We'll make sure we get camera or video of it as well because it'll be worth the price of admission. But tomorrow, there's a couple different ways I can give quizzes. One involves Google Classroom, one involves something else. So one way or the other, we're going to get quizzes. The quiz questions will have nothing to do with what's posted in Blackboard. I'll repeat, they have nothing to do with it. So I'm not going to copy a Blackboard question and then quiz you on it because that's what one student would have a quiz. So anyway, so I'm not doing that. Be prepared, that's coming at some point during the day tomorrow. Also, it's not going to be live. Like, I'm not going to say, hey, at noon to 1, you have to take the quiz. That's not how it's going to go. So you'll have time. You don't have to be online at a certain time to do it. So that's coming. And a couple other things, just classroom management stuff. So you have the next book. So this book we've only got about a week left for. You have the next book. That is Into the Wild. You don't have the final book. I have that in my classroom. As you know, I figured we might be back by now. And I think tomorrow, maybe Thursday, we're going to find out that we're probably not coming back. That's what Cuomo, our fabulous governor, who's actually doing some decent things, is making some announcement this week. So by the time we see each other again, we'll have an answer, whether we're back or not. I do hope we're back. I've said that from the beginning. I continue to hope that. If we don't come back, I will find a way in the next week or so to get a book to you. If you haven't seen Into the Wild, it's skinny. It's not a big book at all. So some of you will like it because it's kind of nonfiction-ish, kind of like a crime book, kind of not. Some of you will blow through but don't throw your head back, Harvey. It's fine. It's a good book. You'll like it more than Eager, so don't do that. Plus, it's shorter too. Anyway, you will be through that book quickly. So that will allow us to focus on our last book, since we don't have Regents Prep, which is really bizarre and dark and apocalyptic and all that fun stuff. And yeah, so just some points about that. Now, I've covered classroom management stuff. I want to stop and allow the chance for questions. Now, I don't know who I can look at here. Izzy, you're here. You can just simply shake your head. Allie's got her hand up. Should I ignore Allie like I said? Izzy? Pretty much everyone's saying I should ignore. Izzy's just smiling. You know what? Izzy's being very polite.
I have an actual question, though.
You do? All right. So I'll tell you what. We're going to get Izzy's question first, and then Allie, and who knows what Allie's going to need anyway. So Izzy, go ahead, please.
Is the person who wrote the book, does he have something like mentally wrong with him?
You're talking Tim O'Brien, the one.
I don't know. Like, you know how the first chapter, like, he repeats himself like so many times, so it kind of reminds you of like a patient who has like something actually wrong with them.
Okay. I'll tell you what. You got here. Well, you got here on time, but I was speaking about this with Emily, and I'm going to speak with you all about this in just a minute, because we have to talk about the book structure. There's two things about the book I want to talk about in class today, or in this meeting, and that's one of them. So I promise I'll come right back to that first. But that's, by the way, in case you all didn't know this, like Tim O'Brien, as far as I know he went to Vietnam. I know he fought in Vietnam. I'm unaware of him ever being injured, like PTSD, getting shot, or any of that stuff. So as far as I know, he never was injured, but he definitely saw real combat, and without being able to prove it, I'm confident he saw people die, and in probably some pretty spectacular ways, assuming based on what we read. So he saw that, and it definitely influenced him. So I think that's a little bit of what you're seeing, Izzy, but we'll talk about that first in just a second. No, I'm going to get Mara first because I don't want to hear from Allie anyway. Mara, go ahead. What do we got?
So like, I know the beginning part was in the perspective of this guy, the Lieutenant Jim something.
Well, it talks about Jimmy Cross, yes.
Yes. So then all the deaths in the like later things, all of those other soldiers, were they just fictional, or were they from the author's like from what he saw?
The
actual real life.
Okay.
Yeah, were some of the deaths in here what he saw, or is this just sort of like a story?
Okay, I don't want to be difficult, but I have two answers. The first answer is some of what you just asked me, I don't want to answer, because if you haven't seen the quiz question, the discussion board questions, there's a question about how that first chapter deals with the third person. And then all of a sudden we go to the first person. So I don't want to answer that question completely, because there is a question about that, but I can deal with the rest of it. And I think that's going to tie in with what Izzy's question was too. So I'm not being difficult. One part I don't want to touch because I don't want to take it away from somebody. And I don't think anyone's chosen that question yet either. So I want to kind of leave that out there. So the second part we'll get to in a second. Yes, Allie, what do you want?
I'm sorry if you already said this, but I keep having my earbuds ripped out, so I can't hear. Is the quiz like just more so a comprehension on each chapter, like the specific chapter for that day, or is it like an overall thing? And
no, that's a fair question. And in fact, Allie, if you don't mind, I kind of am going to answer that too in just a second. So I did not answer your question before. You didn't miss it. And I do have an answer, but bear with me for a moment because we'll get to that in just a second if there's no other questions. So
okay.
Not ignoring Allie. Any other questions before we get it?
So is it multiple choice or no?
No, definitely.
Never mind.
I can answer that. It definitely will not be multiple choice.
I don't know.
Allie's having some tech issues there. I have no idea what's happening there.
It's a baby.
No, you were like inside a cylinder, It sounded like you were inside a little room, and it was also cutting out. It was really freaky, and I could see by the look of people in the class here, they all heard it too. So they all heard. It sounded like a goat. All right, no
Okay,
more.
then maybe I should stop
Okay,
talking.
no more goats. Let's talk about the book. So there's two things I want to talk about. One has zero to do with like something we've already talked about. The author Tim O'Brien's still alive. I think he's fine. I don't think there's anything quote unquote wrong with him. I know he saw combat. I know he's seen things that are terrible and horrible, like many people who have seen combat. But I don't think there's anything necessarily like he's suffering from a psychological condition. So Emily asked a question, and I started talking about it. Maybe 5 of you were here when we started doing that. This book is, and please, somebody tell me that I'm wrong. I don't think I am. You've never read a book like this. You haven't read a book like this with me. You didn't read a book like this in freshman or sophomore year. And when we were together in middle school, you didn't read a book like this. So I don't think we've ever seen a book that repeats something over and over again and sees the same topic from multiple angles. I don't think we've ever done that. Thank you. So as a result, I know that's a little confusing. I know it's a different way of writing the book. Now, there was or is an alternate book for this assignment. And as you already know, and I'm going to talk about this second, this is a profane book. There are adult issues and situations in this book. And so in case somebody said, well, I don't really want to read it, is there an alternative? There is. I would give another book from this author. But really everything he writes is adult, has adult issues or stuff. So there's not really a way to hide it. And it's not because this book is adult. That's not what makes this book different. It's the structure. So as I said before, you might have missed. Ted Lavender in the first chapter, we hear about Ted Lavender's death. It says Ted Lavender who died outside Tonquay. Ted Lavender who died. It repeats over and over again. It has done that and will do that with Kurt Lemon. Another member of the platoon is going to die too, and it will be the same thing. And finally, in a chapter for this week, The Man I Killed, it does the same thing. He's going to see the guy he killed over and over again, and each time there's like more description. So one thing is like Hoyt right now, I can't see Hoyt. It'd say, oh, I see Hoyt's room or whatever. And then the next time it would start describing the different colors that you see in Hoyt's, I don't know if that's a ceiling or what that is, or the wall. And then, then there's a fan. It's like there's always another detail added. So not only is the author going over the same thing over and over again, each pass, he sees more and says more. And that's kind of like what you guys would do too. If I asked you right now to remember your favorite athletic accomplishment of your life, and just said, hey, give me like a minute about it. And you just start talking about it. And then I said, hey, write about it for 10 minutes. You would say more, have more, do more, and all that stuff. By the way, on that note, Ashlyn, I sent your mom an email. Did she tell you about the email I sent her? And I don't know if Ashlyn is frozen. Ashlyn, if you saw, ask your mom, put it this way, ask your mother about the email I sent about an article in the paper in Warren. That's all I'm going to say. And if you haven't seen it, when your head's gonna, your head will explode and you'll feel the same way I did. And that's not like an inside joke. Ashlyn will totally know what that is. You should see, and we'll go from there, because I remember some things kind of differently. It's like exactly what we're talking about. The more you see the same thing, the more and more you can remember from it. So this book's structure, to go back on topic, is very different. And there's an awful lot of things in here. And I know that some of you will really like it. I bet I can guess some of you that really like the structure. And then at the same time, some of you will go, I get it. Why are we doing the same thing over and over again? It doesn't make any sense. And I bet some of you feel that way. But when an author repeats something, there's an important reason the author does that. The author's doing that on purpose. So I'm trying to be very vague with my description. Your questions this week, many of them, I think it's like 2/3 of them, deal with the way this book is written. The last time I pestered you about that was with Eager, but that's only because we did Logos, Ethos, Pathos. That wasn't because that book is structured weird. The only thing, if I remember, about Eager that was a